Alright, we're back in gaming. Yeah, because you know what? I thought this week that we could, get past all this garbage. That possibly we could have some type of, nice video. A lot of positive news and, everyone could just relax. Because God knows the community needs a break from the bullshit from week to week. And then I see the majority of the bullshit this week is coming from the community. Yeah, and I know a lot of people don't like to hear that because there's some snowflakes out there who feel as though the community, they can do no wrong, and it's just perfect and, sunshines and rainbows, and you think you want to hear the wrong things, or should I say the bad things, due to the fact that you can work on it and, can evolve and make things better. But it seems like things don't get better from this point, you know what I mean? And I put it like this, do I have some news about developers acting a fool? Yes. Do I have some news about the companies acting a fool? Yes. But majority of this is the community's fault, and I put it like this, you should be ashamed of yourselves. I already can see the dislikes now, so it doesn't matter. Let's get into this. Let's start with the SJWs. I got one thing to say about it, alright? Only one thing, then we're going to move on. SJWs, developers, yeah. For those who don't know, David Jaffe, yeah. I've done videos in the past, David Jaffe, telling you to shut the fuck up because you like to be outspoken, alright? And that's fine, I understand you like to be outspoken, but you should be smart about it if you're going to be outspoken, okay? Not to mention that you always act like you're some type of hard ass, which you really are not a hard. You should really stop that while you're ahead. Stop that right now, because we already know your deal, David Jaffe. Not to mention the fact that, in the past, you have tried to bully cosplayers, okay, at conventions. Yeah, you've admitted that yourself and you apologize, but you know what? It doesn't fucking matter. Once again, you opened your mouth and you want to talk about kids. The fuck is wrong with you? And for those who know what I'm talking about, these kids apparently did, they were going to their prom and they had a theme for their prom like every other couple or kids have themes for their prom. We know this, right? Okay. They decided to go with a superhero theme. And David Jaffe comes out and calls it sexist and then tries to compare it to the KKK. You cannot be that fucking stupid. It almost sounds like you were one of those guys when it came to your prom that you couldn't get girls like that. Because let's be honest here, alright? When it comes to themes, as we know, this is mostly, for the ladies. Because the ladies usually set this type of stuff up. The men just really follow along because, with the nice flowing gowns and everything. You have to understand with this theme, both sides planned this, okay? That's what they did. Both boys and girls planned this, and they thought it was going to be a cool picture, which I feel it's fucking awesome, okay? I really feel it is. I think it's something that, like I said, it's one of those things where, real life, you have to understand, does not go by the same rules as the fucking internet. And I think a lot of people are starting to see that. Because when he came out and talked about these kids, alright, the internet, the community in general, went off on them, alright? And I'm not just talking about kids, no, adults. Parents went off on him and saying, there's something wrong with you. You should be ashamed of yourself. First off, a lot of people are saying, why are you even perving on these kids? Because you should know by now, if you're by a specific age, if you see kids at a prom or they're walking around in gowns and probably on the street, you glance like, okay, they're at prom, and you keep it moving. You don't sit there and stare and judge and all this. Jaffe's sitting at home on the computer, probably pulling the DSP, looking at the picture, saying, this is sexist. This is pretty much, let's say, compared to the Klan, so you might as well say it's racist. I'm trying to figure out, okay, why everything, when it comes to these SJWs, because he's trying to get in their good graces, obviously. Mind you, we're talking about the man who made God of War, the sex minigame, okay? We're talking about the same man who said in his Twisted Metal interview that if you let your girlfriend win, she'll suck your dick. Yeah, that David Jaffe is coming out and saying that picture is racist. Yeah, alright, and sexist. But, here's the thing, okay? When you come out and you act this way, okay? And like I said, the community jumped all over him. Parents jumped all over him. He tries to defend this as if he didn't say it, but of course it was archived and all this. Everyone's jumping all over him. Now, you should know by now that these SJWs, every time they compare something, because I have to figure this out. Why must you always take it to an extreme? If it's not the KKK that you're, comparing things to, it's ISIS. Like, what is going on here? And then some of you said that you respect ISIS more than you do your fellow gamers. So I don't understand why you need to keep taking this to these extremes. David Jaffe, have you dealt with the KKK ever? I'm just wondering, because you like to compare. Have you ever dealt with that? Because I sure as hell have. For those who don't know, here in Philadelphia, they still hold rallies here at Valley Forge. They're allowed to hold rallies here. That's right. So you have to understand that this is something that happens time and time again here. So I want to know, David Jaffe, since you want to compare it to the KKK, have you dealt with the KKK? Personally, have you dealt with it? Because if not, once again, from a person of my experience, again, I will tell you, since I've been telling you for years, shut the fuck up. Again. But of course, when I came out and said something and said, David Jaffe needs to apologize for this, these are kids just having fun at a prom. They're not thinking about sexism and racism and all that stuff because the real world doesn't abide by SJW internet rules. They don't. Okay? Real world does not act like how you see people online act. They don't. Unless they're really fucking ignorant and they bring it over to online, then it's a whole different story, okay? But you have to understand that the real world doesn't act this way. So if something like this is said on the internet, those kids, they're like, look, we had fun. Fuck what you think. You know what I'm saying? The real world is just going to look at you like, what? Like, yeah. It goes to show you how detached from reality a lot of people are. But when I said that David Jaffe, he needs to apologize because that's what adults do when they're fucking wrong. Gamergate, let's have this talk. A lot of you in Gamergate jumped all over David Jaffe, which makes sense. But then a number of you came after me after saying that. David Jaffe ain't gonna have to apologize for shit, you SJW nigga. That's what y'all said to me. So now I'm an SJW. I find it funny that some of you who claim to be Gamergate, or pro-Gamergate, because the person was claiming to be it, alright, and trying to shitpost. And the funny part is, in his bio, he's like, yeah, I'm just going to shitpost and shitpost. I'm thinking to myself, so, you're going to shitpost. That's your entire point of being online, so you're wasting your life. Yeah, that's good. But at least know who your allies are. At least do that. Because, then you just look like a fucking idiot. Because you're saying you're pro-Gamergate and you're shitposting against those who you're against, but you're actually shitposting against people who are for you. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Like I said, it's amazing how many people don't check the deposit first before deciding to go all in. You know what I mean? To double down. It's amazing. Anyways, let's move on. It's fucking stupid. Jaffe, you should be ashamed. You really should be ashamed of yourself. You're a grown-ass man. Like I said, every time I keep calling people grown-ass men, I gotta take it back. I gotta pull it back. Because the way you act isn't an adult. That's not how you act. You're a man-child. That's what you are. You're a child trapped in a man's body, if you want to call yourself a man. That's how it is. And you're going to see more of it today, too. You will. But got to talk about the fair sex of things. That's right. Got to talk about the females. Because, you're all delicate snowflakes, and isn't the female supposed to save us from all this? Wasn't that the article? You're supposed to save us from this? Yes. Let's talk about the females in gaming. Let's talk about one particular female who says that children who get cancer, that's right, on her stream, all right? Children who are diagnosed with cancer are meant to die.
Leah, can you help me with my fundraiser? I don't even know how to help myself piss in a toilet. So how do you want me to help you with a fundraiser? Like, can you, King Gnu, no man, you're awesome. Everybody, King Now is doing a fundraiser for St. Jude on his stream. You should follow the link. You should donate to St. Jude because kids have cancer. But obviously, I think people should know by now. I'm going to be honest because I was a bio major and you should listen to me. But children that have cancer are going to die and they're meant to die. I'm sorry. But if you get cancer, and I'm not being mean, I'm not being an asshole.
Actually, yeah. You're an asshole. And I say this due to the fact that I don't care. I don't want to hear excuse. She's drunk or she's hot. That shit doesn't matter to me. Common sense still prevails when these type of things happen. You were sitting there. First off, we already know that you're a cam whore. All right? You cannot sit here and tell me that you're not. Now, here's the thing. We've had this talk before about cam whores. About, little window here where the game is, and it's showing your tits for donations, and then you have these thirsty motherfuckers give you money. Let me address those people first, okay? People who give women money, donations, because you want to see some tits online. I'll put it like this. Let's be real here, all right? Because we're going to have this real talk. Yeah, that's going to be a theme as well later. Yeah, we're going to talk about real talk, okay? But you do realize you could see porn for free. You don't have to donate to that online, right? You do realize that if you go outside, you can see better tits outside, on the street than you would that chick. I'm just telling you, it's absolutely ridiculous that this child would sit here and say something like this, because there are a number of kids who have been diagnosed with cancer, and guess what? They've survived. For you to say that kids who have cancer are meant to die, and then say, you should trust me because I'm a biomedic, oh my God. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit, alright? You were absolutely wrong, and the sad part is, here's the problem with the community again. Once this happened, we see a number of people who are defending her. That's right. Even though there's people who are upset, and I'm addressing this now, but there are a number of fans who are still going to defend her. I told you before, no matter what happens on here, no matter what is said on here, no matter how people act, whether they're jerking off online or people are showing their tits online, people will defend it. Because our community is fucked up. That's why. Because once again, it comes down to, I like said person, and I'm going to defend them to the fucking end. For some reason, these so-called fans, these diehards, will not let these adults, because they're supposed to be adults, take any type of responsibility for their statements or actions. I don't understand this whatsoever. It's disgusting that someone will come out and say that. And I thought when it came to streaming this type of stuff that they were supposed to, knock this down by now. Because you can't have the video be this small and her just acting a fool. And showing tits and everything like this. Matter of fact, they already have on Twitter, they have, the bad Twitch layouts or whatever, where you can see the history of people who have horrible layouts on their Twitch. 9 times out of 10, what's going on? People are sitting there naked, tits out, screen is all on them, and then you have that little screen here that shows that they're playing a game. Yeah, cam whores, SJWs. I need to understand, because I said this before, okay? Where are you on this issue, right? If you're so worried about being the moral crusader of gaming, where are you on this issue? When I brought this up before, y'all got quiet, crickets. I don't understand this. The community, you have to understand as well, that as long as these people are around, it will hurt your community. It will damage your community, regardless of how popular they are or unpopular they are, okay? If they're still around, then it makes you look bad. It does. Hence in point why I'm addressing this today. And it seems like people don't understand that. You have to understand, even though we know what's going on in our community, we know the people on the outside who were looking in don't. And you have to take accountability for that. You have to. This is why you're giving ammo to them. The same people who says gaming is violent, gaming is sexist, gaming is racist, gaming is this. They turn you into killers. They turn you into bad people, antisocial, blah, blah, blah. This is the reason why. This is a good example. But no one's talking about that. Another example of, gaming going too far, and it's too violent, and it's too sexist and bloody. Check this out. The Witcher 3 developer defends Blood and Wine screenshots, saying it's an adult game. You've got people now online complaining that it's too bloody, that it's too gory, and they're saying it's an adult game, it's for adults. They should be able to handle adult content. We shouldn't have to censor this stuff. And I agree. You shouldn't have to censor this stuff, because isn't that what you wanted, people? Didn't you want the adult system? Didn't you say games need to grow up? Didn't you sit here, don't we still have a rating system for this type of stuff? M for mature, T for teen, E for everyone. Are we supposed to just forget this stuff? For years, you pushed and said that gaming was too violent and that these would be the things that would keep it in check. Now that you got the fucking system, you still find a reason to complain. I'm happy that the Witcher 3 developers have decided that they're not going to censor this. They shouldn't have to censor it. But once again, it was almost like a strong arm move. You should censor this because this is gory and this is grotesque. Jesus Christ, where were these people when Splatterhouse came out? Yeah, let's move on. I want to talk about the fighting game community, and I'm sure you see it in the header. And this is what I really wanted to talk about today, because the fighting game community, right now, you are on rails. You are getting ready to tip over. You are, because this shit is just absolutely fucking ridiculous. The stuff I've seen this week. So let's start with Street Fighter V. Here's the thing: there's not that much news. Fighting game community all around when it comes to different games like I gave you last week. No, most of this is Street Fighter V and fanboys and shilling, and this shit needs to be stopped. It does. I'm so fucking sick and tired of seeing this shit by now. Let's start. First off, Street Fighter V sales are underperforming. Okay? Now, Capcom made a good chunk of money off of Street Fighter V. They did. I don't think anyone can sit here and deny that, given the numbers. However, they are 600,000 off of their mark. They are. So it did underperform. It did. compared to their expectations. Mind you, we've seen for the previous, I'm going to say, 4 years maybe? I'll say 3 years, okay? Every time they've had expectations for said games of their platform that they've put out, under their little umbrella, what's happened? It's underperformed every time. Resident Evil underperformed at the time when they were given expectations. Dragon's Dogma had underperformed at one point. Because remember, they wanted, 1 or 2 million copies sold or something like that? That underperformed. Devil May Cry, remember, they wanted 5 million copies, for Devil May Cry? That underperformed at the time. Monster Hunter at one point, they gave it a really low performance, and then it actually shot up. So as we see, Monster Hunter has now become one of their bigger franchises. They're realizing that the West does love Monster Hunter. So that's doing actually well now. Lost Planet at one point, they thought would perform better. And what happened with Lost Planet 3? Underperformed. And now we have Street Fighter that is underperformed. These are facts, people. If you've been going back to Capcom's resume, you've been looking back at what they said that they expect from, their products, it is always underperformed. So before anybody comes out and says, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal, number one, yes, it is a big deal. Because from a company standard, or a standpoint, I should say, whoever is making these type of forecasts to have these type of predictions, they're wrong, and they're wrong at their job. That's simple, okay? So they're wrong at their job. They need to be fired. It wouldn't, I play this, it wouldn't keep making you look like a bunch of assholes if you had the right person and saying, look, we're going to look at this and see how much we can get out of it. But it has underperformed. Now I need to talk about what happened not too long ago. And you guys sent it to me on Twitter, and I couldn't believe that I sat here and I watched this video, and all it did was piss me off. Max. Now last week, I gave Maximilian credit for what he did with Demetrius Johnson. And I told you people, even though he's a kiss-ass for Capcom, I gave him credit and said that set wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? That's how it should be. And then he goes and pulls this shit this week. So for those who don't know what I'm talking about, Max comes out and makes a fucking videos on Street Fighter V and Real Talk and blah, blah, blah. And pretty much all he does is say, well, the community is supporting it, so that's why it's being successful. Let's get something straight, all right? Just because, and I have to really stress this, just because the community supports something doesn't mean it's good, okay? Let's be honest here. Street Fighter 4 was a fucking travesty. All right? You still love that shit, didn't you, Max? You kissed that shit to the moon, didn't you, Max? Even though Capcom tried to shut you down before, you're still sucking their dick off, aren't you, Max? Okay, but Street Fighter 4, remember when Capcom had said, listen, going by facts, remember when Capcom said that there wouldn't be an Ultra Street Fighter 4, that you wouldn't have to worry, you fans wouldn't have to worry about that? What happened? What happened? Came out with Ultra Street Fighter 4, didn't they? Yeah, they did. And it goes to show you, once again, it was supported until Street Fighter 5 came out. Which goes to show you, it does not matter if it's supported or not. That doesn't mean it's successful because the game is good. Should we talk about Marvel vs. Capcom 3? Remember when people bought Vanilla? And Capcom was like, this is going to be around for a while. And then they dropped Ultimate on you, and people were pissed. Because they invested in Vanilla. And then what happened? Then they had to start throwing money at it, especially all these competitions. You had to keep the hype going in order for it to survive. Tell me now, where's Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3? Still struggling, isn't it? It's struggling right now, isn't it? The people are leaving because they've moved on to other games. But you'd say that's a success as well, right? Because of all the money, all the promotion, and all the fanboys like you who keep kissing their ass. And people have to fucking understand, all right? And I'm going to say this right now. Because when you sit here and you say it's real talk, first off, I'll tell you right now, Max don't know shit about real talk. Because every time you hear real talk, you think online, okay, people are just being honest, they're just going to give their opinion. You have to understand, there is a fine line between giving your opinion and becoming an advertisement. And we see this time and time again. But in the real world, what real talk really means is completely different. See, real talk is, I press up on you. I put my hands on you. I grip you the fuck up and let you know, look, little motherfucker, you're not going to do this. This is my shit. You know what I mean? If they struggle, then you put it on them even more. That's real talk, because you talk in the air, you letting them know. That's real talk. What people don't understand is that you're starting to see all these people try to be trendy. People who don't know shit because they've been listening to too much fucking rap music. You have a bunch of dudes, yeah, we're going to have some real talk. Or like I said, you think that real talk is just you saying your opinion. Real talk is speaking the truth. You can't get the truth from Max if he has a history of being biased with Capcom. Do you understand that? So as far as I'm concerned, and this is what bothers me the most, okay? Because if you look in his comment section, It's fucking World War III there. They are fighting about whether this game is good, whether it's not, right? And I want you to remember that part, because I have some stuff to show you, because if you want to sit here and say that the game is good, then once again, this week I need to know, why hasn't this been fixed? You notice everyone has a fucking excuse on why this game, as they're trying to show it as the second coming, and Capcom didn't do nothing wrong, dog. You notice every time we have to hear this shit. Let's be honest here. If you're going to build this as the second coming, then it better be as damn good as you're hyping it up to be. Now, with those sales, and people say, well, it's a success. I would love to see the numbers, by the numbers, on how many people bought it off of hype at first, and then when Capcom started to apologize and see all these problems going on, how many people bought it afterwards. I would love to see that. And how many people caved the fucking peer pressure? Because if the community is making a success and supporting it, you should too, right? Or we can go the hip-hop gamer route and say, if you criticize the game, you're trying to assassinate it, and you're nothing but a fucking hater. If you notice, every time someone criticizes this fucking game, everyone has the excuse on why to degrade them. Have you noticed it? Remember the video I showed you where that guy did a review on Street Fighter V? What happened? Fanboys told him to go kill himself. And when he said he's not going to kill himself on no fucking game or review, what did they do? They threatened to find him and kill him. That's what they threatened to do. This is how far you are willing to go over a fucking video game. Children. Children. That's what you are. And it's not just the fanboys who are just threatening people. No, we're talking about the people who are actually shilling for this fucking game. And people, you have to understand, we're going to see more and more of this as time goes on with Street Fighter V, because as we know, they need to make money off of this. It's the only game, I would say, right now that we've seen as of late, where you had to have celebrities come in and play high-ranking people. No, Mortal Kombat didn't even do that to sell their game. No, Street Fighter V needed to do that because Capcom knew, regardless of how much they try to degrade you, how much they try to peer pressure you, and we're talking about the Defense Force, how much they threaten you, Capcom had to apologize for what they fucked up on. They know they fucked up. They came out and apologized for shit and said, wait, we're going to try and make it better. You know, as time goes on, hell, we'll give you a story mode in June? Yeah. We're going to give you more single-player options now. And as we found out, that shit's fucked up. Everything about this game has been fucked up. I showed you last week what happened with Nikali. And what happened? Now you need a patch for the patch. And now this shit with Birdie. Like, you've got to understand when you are being fucking hustled. And I say this to the community in general. For people who were so upset at one point that, you know, they were being exploited, I don't understand how you're okay with this. Why? Is it because Max is popular? Because I'll tell you this right now. I've said it before. I will say it again. I do not give a shit who you think you are. I don't give a shit if you're popular. I don't give a shit who you know. I don't give a shit if you know the fucking company, alright? None of that shit matters to me. The pecking order or popularity does not fucking matter. Common sense. No matter if it's a popular person saying it, it doesn't mean it's the fucking gospel. That's what it is. The fact is, you have to be able to tell the difference when you are being shilled, when you are being hustled, when it's a fucking, that video's a fucking walking advertisement. You have to be able to see that. And for those who still need more proof, not too long ago, we saw what happened with Lupe Fiasco, did we not? We saw how he disrespected the community. We saw how he was threatening to hurt people, right? Well, we have some news with Lupe, because apparently he got some free shit, and you should know who gave it to him. So once again, giving celebrities free shit after they've insulted the community, after they've threatened to put people in the hospital over said challenges in Street Fighter V. Mind you, we were supposed to call for a boycott. We were supposed to say, look, where's the community on this one? You should be ashamed that they tried to exploit you for, personal gain, number one. Number two, how do you let this guy just come in here and act this way towards the community? There should be some type of punishment for him threatening to hurt people, physically hurt people, because he was challenged in Street Fighter V. And what do? You do the opposite. You give him free shit. That's what you do. And here's on top of this, here's what makes it even worse, okay? Because even though he's already insulted you, now he's looking for matches online. Who the fuck would want to play him after the way he's acted? Oh wait, they'll still play him because he's popular. Popular enough to say this. and still get people to play him in the community. Here's the thing I don't understand. Because remember, Markman, I talked to Markman. I told Markman, you know what I mean, what was going on. I sent him the tweets so he could see it. It was, what he said, I didn't know anything about it. Well, you know about it now, and yet he still got this shit. What's the excuse? All right? Shouldn't this have been, across-the-board thing and saying, look, we can't have this guy around because of how he's acted. You know, because everyone has said, we don't support violence in our community, in our fighting game community, yet he's allowed to make threats and send people to the hospital, and yet you give him free shit. Now, I said I wanted you to remember that, you know, there's people in Max's comment section, it's World War III there, they're fighting left and right. Don't you talk about Street Fighter V? How dare you? Yeah, where are you on this shit? See, I don't understand how you want to be respected, okay? You want the community to grow. But when it comes to serious issues, or when you're being fucking hustled or exploited for said product, for personal gain, once again, you don't say shit. You don't come out and say anything. You turn a blind eye. You stay mute. You got the top players who said, I'm not going to get into it because, you know, that may hurt my business, dog. Bitches. Everywhere around me. A bunch of bitches in this community. It never was like this. Never. And I guarantee you, because I said that, people going to get upset. If I sat here and said, the game that you like so much is fucking garbage, you get your guns out, you send your fucking armies, this serious shit, though, you're never around. Why is this? How do you expect to get better if you don't clean up the fucking trash in the community? If you notice, every person who talks about real talk, think about it. Every person I've put in this box so far, all right? Whether it's Hip Hop Gamer, Max, Filipino Champ, Markman, it doesn't matter who the fuck it is. They all got one thing in fucking common. They have all tried to use you. If you haven't realized. Frauds. But when I say this, I'm wrong. I'm the bad guy. The vet needs to shut up. He needs to go away. Right? Like I said, if this type of shit was back in the day where they tried this shit, they would have been thrown out. Out of the arcades. They wouldn't have been able to go to an arcade. They went to one arcade and tried to go to the next one. They said, nope, they already made the call. You're not allowed here. Be out. You'd have been done. You'd have been blacklisted. But for some reason, YouTube and its popularity, as long as people like said person, they can get away with pretty much fucking anything. And that's disgusting. Like I said, you cannot call these. If you think about it, you look at these videos, and you see these people making piss-poor excuse after piss-poor excuse on why the game is okay the way it is now. We've seen Hip-Hop Gamer, Capcom don't need to apologize for shit. Because it's not, they don't need to have a standard in video games. Really, they don't need to have a standard in video games whatsoever. Max, well, the community likes it and puts the peer pressure. You should like it too. You know, that's why it's so successful. It's not using one fucking brain cell. You know what I mean? If you go back and you look at these things, these are supposed to be, and I have to bring this up again, these are supposed to be adults. And this is how they're acting. Once again, I cannot call them adults. These are children. This is fish out of water. That's what this is. Because when you say such ignorant statements, while all the rest of this shit is just sliding by, yeah, you know, we're just going to give him free shit. After he's told everyone to suck a dick, the community can suck a dick and die, and I'm not playing you bum-ass niggas, mind you. That was towards his own fans. Now, since he got shit, where the lounges at? Is this the standard y'all really want to hold for your community? Seriously. Everyone loves to talk about how they love this fucking community, but when shit like this happens, y'all nowhere to be fucking found. Nowhere. I said it before, I'll say it again. Anybody got problems, you know what I'm saying? You let me know. I'll say it right to your face. I do not give a fuck. I do not care. But you have to understand that this community is not for fucking sale. And every time you see this shit happen, you should call them on it. But of course not. Because as long as there's ignorant fanboys backing said fanboy, nothing can get done. It stifles the actual community. How do you not see this? How do you not use your own brain cells and see this shit? I don't get it. You got frauds all around you. And you're not speaking on this. Dudes trying to sell you shit. Dudes acting as something they not. But it's a villain role. All this shit is fake if you notice. It's fake. No one's talking about. You know what? Let's move on. I am so fucking disgusted with the fighting game community right now. It's for real. I don't know how you let this shit slide. I just don't understand it. Seriously. Like I said, if you want to be taken seriously, then it's time that you step up to the plate when serious issues happen. It really is. Just saying. Let's move on to more Capcom news. Monster Hunter Cross. That's right. Now, a number of you have asked me, are you excited for Monster Hunter Cross? I'm going to say no due to the fact that they're only talking about right now, for what I've seen, they're only talking about bringing to the 3DS. Capcom, why aren't you putting this on more? Come on, man. Put this on more platforms. I don't know why you keep holding Monster Hunter in this little 3DS. Look, I get it. 3DS sales, they're huge. I understand for as much as you're making off of the game compared to how much it costs to make, it's a no-brainer. You keep it going. But you should bring it to more platforms, even if it's a Nintendo exclusive. Bring it to more platforms so that you can sell more. Why would you, for a company who has said time and time again, this product needs to sell more, you're not giving it the opportunity to sell more. I'm just saying, you're not. Let's move on. More Capcom news. Resident Evil is getting a full-scale offensive from Capcom. So I guess we can expect Resident Evil 7 coming. And here's the thing. What they're saying, they're a full-scale offensive. They're coming out with platform games. They're coming out. And there's a chart that says that Monster Hunter is on that chart. That's part of their offensive program. And then there's 2 mystery games. So we're going to say, I would say Resident Evil 7 coming. And possibly, depending, because they're saying 2017. I don't know what the production is right now on Devil May Cry. I would say Devil May Cry. But I don't want to go too far with that. I would say if Capcom has anything up their sleeve, because Devil May Cry has to be probably the worst kept secret. I would like to see Mega Man. I think if it just came out of nowhere and just did something, that would shock the shit out of a lot of people. I would say that. We'll see. We'll see. Let's move on as well, okay? Because like I said, 2 major unannounced titles for 2017 in their offensive, program. Resident Evil will be one of them. Fuze. Let's talk about Fuze. Fuze 1 is a new console that clones the PS4. That's right. Clones the PS4. Fuze 1. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Because isn't this the same company that gave Inafune money back then? Isn't this the same company? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I believe it is. But we'll see what happens in the future with that. Also, in more news, Persona. Persona 5 gets 3 new party members, so for those who are interested in Persona, put the link in the info bar for you. Also, we need to have this talk, because I've seen so many idiots talk about this, and how you should not be so mad at Call of Duty. You shouldn't be. You're just a bunch of haters again. Jesus Christ. Like I said, it's like being back in 2012. It is. And at least the people who did that in 2012, at least they were more entertaining about it. Oh my God. Battlefield 1 has the most liked trailer in history. Right? Infinity Warfare, I just want to call it Infinity War at this point, has the most disliked trailer in history. So let's see what those dislikes look like. As you can see, people are upset. And you can't chalk this all to all these people being a bunch of haters. You can't. Alright? You just can't. Will Call of Duty sell? Yes, it'll sell because it's a household name. But the fact that you were holding that remake pretty much hostage in order to buy Infinity Warfare, that should tell you something. It's a bad tactic, and it should be sold as a standalone. Then you'll really see the numbers on how many people will buy Infinity Warfare as opposed to, the remake that's coming out. But they don't want to do that. Like I said, people are they're tired of, of Call of Duty, it seems like at this point. Like I said, I still think it'll sell, but let's be honest here. Call of Duty in space. Like, you're in space. That's what it is. No one cares. No one cares. Let's move on. Kojima. That's right. Apparently he's got a new game coming out. Kojima has a new game which will be a AAA action game. He says it will appeal to Uncharted fans and fans of The Division. That's right. So we shall see what will happen with that. We'll just keep a close eye on that. However, let's talk about Uncharted. Yep, got to talk about Uncharted. Now, a lot of you messaged me and said, Event, the day 1 patch that you talked about last week, it's not mandatory. You can skip that, right? Okay, you can skip that. Even though you still need it for a 5 gigabyte patch because it's for fixes and things of that nature. But here's another one for you, okay? Uncharted 4 gets second day 1 patch. A second one. Yeah, a second one. So if you skip the first one, guess what? You're getting ready to have a second one. Yeah. This is something that should not be tolerated. Regardless if it's optional or not. If it's for bugs and fixes, then you should wait for that. You should get the patch. You want to work right? But for it to be a second day one patch, come on. Like, let's move on though with Uncharted 4. Uncharted, micro pricing has been revealed. That's right, they got microtransactions, they've been revealed. The pricing is in the info bar for you. You know, remember when you didn't have to worry about this type of shit? Yeah. Also, Uncharted. More Uncharted news. Sony is confirming that Crash Bandicoot is still owned by Activision. Now, you're probably asking, okay, why is that a thing? Because Crash Bandicoot is an Easter egg in Uncharted 4. For those who have not seen this, and I'm going to show it to you, this is not a spoiler, this is an Easter egg, okay? So before anyone freaks out and say, oh, you're spoiling the game for me, no, it's an Easter egg. It has nothing to do really with the story. Don't worry about it. This is actually really cool as far as I'm concerned. So let's get started in 5, before you understand that this, like I said, once again, is not a spoiler. In 4, 3, 2, let's get ready and start it, all right? Crash Bandicoot, Uncharted 4, 1.
Yeah, your little TV game thing. I bet I can beat your high score.
You think that you can beat my high score on my TV game thing?
Yeah, I think you're scared now.
You don't even know what it's called.
I don't need to know what it's called. I've seen you play. It's
right.
Jumping and running, and I have a natural talent for that.
Really?
So, what do you say, chicken? Is it a bet?
Oh, wow. Okay, cowboy.
Okay, watch and learn.
Oh, I'm learning, all right.
Is this it?
No, it has to load.
Load.
Yes.
This is taking a really long time.
You have no patience.
When you turn something on, you expect it to... Okay, here we go. Crash Bandicoot.
Is there a problem?
No, just, how do you make it go?
Push the start button.
I knew that.
All right.
I got it.
Okay, so you want to run towards the camera.
Run to the camera. Got it.
And the circle button is your spin attack.
Spin attack!
Okay, run away from the boulder.
Why is the boulder chasing me?
Just run away from it.
I did nothing to this boulder. Did that spinning hurt?
Watch that pit.
I watched it. What is that thing, a fox?
A bandicoot.
Looks like a fox. It's like a fox in jeans.
Okay, smash the boxes.
Why is a fox smashing crates?
Bandicoot, and it's what he does.
It's a fox, and it's not very realistic.
Perfect.
By the way, foxes can't do this. Oh! What happened?
You fell in the pit.
I know. How do I climb back out?
You're dead.
Well, that's not realistic. I would have climbed back out. He should learn to climb. Climbing's always helped me.
Good. There you go. Okay, grab the fruit.
What does the fruit do?
100 gives you an extra life.
100? Who's got time to pick 100 pieces of fruit? Oh, these graphics are pretty good. Aren't they? Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Way to go there. What? Is that it?
You asked for it.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I practically had it.
You can give it another shot. Come on, double or nothing. My car could really use a good cleaning.
Really? You gonna start the smack talk
There's
now?
this mode called easy mode. I just switch it.
Wow.
It's way easier on
Just keep talking.
Okay, yo, you can't even be mad. You can't even be mad at that. Like, come on, man. That's just hilarious. Like, that is what I'm talking about. See, when you go back and you play a game, or someone who hasn't played a game, clearly it was scripted. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just did that off the fly, though. I would not be surprised. Either way, it's fucking hilarious. And you know what? That is such a great thing to see, as far as I'm concerned. When it comes, it's a nice little nod, but you can poke fun at stuff and still be cool about it. That's what games are about. You can always poke fun at said game. You can play a bad game and still make it fun, okay? You can. But like I said, it depends on the person. People take games way too seriously at times. And it goes to show you everything he is saying about Crash is like, have we not said this before? Like, have we not dealt with this? Who the hell has time to pick up this stuff? It was the same thing with Sonic and Mario. It was like, yo, who's going to pick up all these rings at one point? Or these coins? And that's what you did at times. You know what I mean? It was just like, come on. There's times when you would go for said item, and you would miss it and end up dying trying to go for said item because it was going to give you the extra man. That's the type of stuff that it brings you back. It really makes you think about it. It's like, yo, that is fucking hilarious. That is on point. Uncharted 4. Like I said before, there's 2 games I want to see the ending to, the way they're going to end. It was Dark Souls 3 and Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4, so far, for what I've seen so far, it's looking great. I cannot wait to see how this ends. But you have to understand that all the things that are coming with these games these days, and that's why I showed the clip, okay? Because it brings you a good form of nostalgia back. Times where you didn't have to worry about microtransactions or DLC or season passes or day one patches or 2 day one patches or yeah. It just goes to show you, and the fact that Crash should learn how to climb. But that's what's great about that. I love that scene. I love it. You know what I mean? No matter what happens from there on, I love that fucking scene. I just do. But let's move on. Let's talk about more games that are somewhat simplistic, or some people, depending how hardcore they are, they could say that it's very tedious on people. I don't think it is, but that's just me. Mario Minecraft Mashup Pack is coming to the Wii U on May 17th. That's right, for Minecraft. And I know there are a lot of people who play Minecraft and saying, you got to know where this is, you got to know where that is. It takes a lot of skill. And there's others who are just like, it's Minecraft. Depending. You know what I mean? So let's move on. Let's talk about Sega real quick. And this is something I think a lot of people should listen about, because you don't want to, the company's actually going about this the right way. Sega asked people to stop uploading full episodes of Sonic Boom on YouTube. Alright? So they're asking you nicely before they decide to shut you down, if you decide to ignore what they're saying. They're trying to say that if you stop now, everything's cool. You know what I mean? If you keep doing it, you're going to get shut down, and they don't want people to think this is just out of nowhere. They are asking you nicely, please do not do this. And you know what? That's the way they should go about it. Sega's learning their lesson, aren't they? From last time they tried to do this shit. So they're asking nicely. So please, don't upload any more Sonic Boom episodes. Sega's asking nicely. Let's just abide by the rules, okay? They're asking nicely. So let's move on. Five Nights at Freddy's. That's right. It's getting remade for consoles. Doesn't matter. Like, seriously, does it really matter? I mean, if you're a fan of it, you're a fan of it. I don't have a problem with the game at all, but does it really need to be remade? I mean, we're getting another remake. Another remaster, whatever the hell you want to call it. Yeah, that's what they're doing. I don't get it. Let's move on. Gamers hold a moment of silence. That's right, we gotta talk about this. Dark Souls 3. Because it is for all Dark Souls 3. Gamers hold a moment of silence for 1 out of 10 PC players that haven't reached the first bonfire in Dark Souls 3. Hello, darkness. Yes, hello, darkness. Listen, a moment of silence. I'll put the link in the info bar. It's pretty sad that this is happening. But there's more Dark Souls news. Yes, there's more. All right. Dark Souls 3 PC player stats show boss success rate. So there's an actual, in the link in the info bar, there will be a chart to all the bosses and their success rate and how many people are having problems with this game. That's right. Also, in the opposite side of news of Dark Souls 3, and I'll put the link in the info bar for you, okay? And the video's in the link in the info bar as well if you want to see it. A player beats Dark Souls 3 without dodging, blocking, leveling up, and no armor. And here's the thing. For anyone who says, wow, he went through all that in the first run, actually it's even harder than that. This is not his first run. This is his 6th run through the game. Like I said, the link will be in the info bar for the article, and embedded is the video, so you can actually see this video. It's only like 10 minutes long, and you can see this guy playing, and he's running, but he's not dodging, he's not rolling, nothing. No armor, he's just fighting. And he finishes the game, and then he shows you his stats afterwards. It's amazing. Amazing. Like I said, somebody got good. Yeah, someone got good. Now, speaking of getting good, I've seen a lot of complaints about Doom. A lot of people are complaining about it, and you know what? Fine. Whatever. I know a lot of people are saying, well, the game, and it's really not out yet. And I don't see how people can complain about the game. Yeah, but here's a big complaint that we need to talk about. In Doom, as you know, it has a bundle coming out. This is specifically for Steam or digital, and they're not giving out refunds. That's right. So, for example, if you decide you're going to play Wolfenstein, that's right, while you're waiting digitally for Doom, and you play it over 2 hours, there's no refunds. And it has been talked about already on Steam. Now, the company in general did not come out and say anything about this. You thought they would have given gamers a heads up on this, but no, it didn't. It made them look a little douchey. So gamers had to dig for this one, and look at, their rights. And as you can see, be very wary when you're trying to buy these things and think that you're going to get a refund. All right? Know what you're getting yourselves into and understand that you should know at this point that nothing's really free. I mean, let's be honest here, because they say, oh, you get this free with this. If you play it over 2 hours, you can't, you don't like Doom, guess what? Doesn't matter. It's yours. That's it. It's done. And so I'm just letting you know that, all right? So once again, it's one of those things where you really should look into your rights and what, when it comes to refunds on bundles and see what you're getting yourself into. Don't be duped, okay? Or say, I didn't know and plead ignorance like we've seen other people do. Don't do that, okay? So know your rights. Also, let's move on. EA boss, EA. Yeah. EA boss says there may not be any consoles in the future. Really? That's what you want to say. There's not going to be. There may. Keyword may not. So you're making a prediction that may or may not come true. If that's the case, I can say right now, the industry may or may not crash. It's the fucking point of it. That's just fucking stupid. It's stupid to say, why don't you just keep your mouth shut? How about that? Keep your mouth shut. Because for you to say it may or may not, so what? It's like you're sitting on the fence, you're covering both sides of it. Like, seriously, if you're going to make a prediction, it's going to, there's not going to be any, or there is going to be. Make a decision. May not. Keyword. Unfucking real. Anyways, let's move on. Fucking EA. I tell you, stupid. Just fucking stupid. EA. Fear Effect. That's right. Let's talk about this. For those who don't know, Fear Effect, as we know, is coming out. Fear Effect Sedna is coming out. And for those who have not seen this, it's actually looking okay. We'll see what happens with it. You know what I mean? For those who have not seen the trailer, I'll put the link in the info bar. It's their Kickstarter. They have a number of backers, and it's doing very well right now. So Fear Effect looked like it's going to be back on its feet very soon. We'll see what happens. Also, in the last bit of news, I guess this could be your positive news, I guess, with Fear Effect. Stellaris breaks records with 200,000 copies sold in under 24 hours. So, there you go. I guess that's your positive news. I mean, last bit of news, positive news. It's tough to say that it's going to be a lot of positive news coming down the pipe when you see these companies doing what they're. It's not just the companies. Like I said, companies, developers acting like idiots, but it's mostly the community. Unless the people in the community are being paid by said company to say these things, then you can blame the company. But a lot of these are just fanboys, and they're just buying into the hype. Like I said, I would love to see some numbers on how Street Fighter V sold during that hype process, and then after, people found out what was going on and Capcom apologized, and then the numbers that, after that. I would love to see that. But until then, you can't sit here and say it's a success, it's underperformed. It's not a success compared to Capcom standards due to the fact that this is what they always do. Like I said, this is something you can't say is a success yet. Are the numbers respectable? I would say they're respectable. I would. But to sit here and try and say, well, the community's supporting it and pretty much saying, well, so should you, because that's what it's implying. That's exactly what it's fucking implying. You can't do that. Or you can take the idiotic approach. I mean, they're all idiotic approaches, but I mean the less sensible approach and just be like, if you have a if you're criticizing it, then you're a hater. Like, that's the fucking stupidest thing you could fucking say. It's really even if someone doesn't like said product, unless people are coming out and saying, I hope the developers die because they made this game and the game should be vaporware and their family should suffer, that's hate. That's fucking hate. That's hate. Not, I don't like this game, it's garbage. Nah, that's criticizing it. And then giving you reasons why they don't like it. That's criticizing it. And coming to, a decision from a consumer base. Saying, look, I'm seeing the quality of this game, I don't like it. Hell, there's even some of the top players in the world have already decided they're going to trade in Street Fighter V for Overwatch. That's right, Bolt was retweeting it not too long ago. So it goes to show you that this is something that it's universally It's one of those things where if you look at said player, it depends on if they're for these games or if they're not. You know what I mean? Like I said, if they love to kiss Capcom's ass or they're not. Be able to look through this bullshit. Seriously, it's not about popularity. Listen to what they're saying and think to yourself, would I really say that? Do I really feel that way about said game? Think about that. Not just, oh yeah, he said so, it must be true. Because if you do that, well then guess what? They'll have you buying all types of bullshit. And then when you decide you don't like a game, those same people who shield that shit will turn on you in a heartbeat. You're not a true fan. You're not this. You're not that. You're just a fucking hater. Get out of here. You weren't part of the community anyway. That's what they'll say to you. Yeah. So it goes to show you that these type of things need to be cleaned up. And as far as I'm concerned, like I said, it's mind-numbingly bad how people think they can get away with this bullshit simply because they hold an audience. That's bullshit. If I said something that was so out of bounds, like Street Fighter V and you're nothing but a bunch of haters, blah, blah. If I said some shit like that, you know what I expect? I expect everyone who watches this video to walk the fuck away from me. Because that's stupid to say. It's irresponsible to say. What about that Lupe thing, though? No one wants to throw down any punishment, right? Yeah. No punishment, we'll just give him more stuff for acting a fool. That is the mentality right now of our fighting game community. Yeah. Yeah. You want to be better, though. You want to be on TV, though. You want the big stadiums, though, right? Acting that way. At this point, it just makes me sick. But of course, everyone will have a reason to defend that shit as well. So, that's all it seems like these days. People act a fool, people defend it. That's what it seems. It's not just, no, hey, you, take some responsibility. Nope. Can't have that, can we? Can't have adults take responsibility. Okay, yep, done. Fuck this, fuck you, I'm out.